Wilson lurched forward and screamed in his ear, "Go! Honk your horn! Drive! Get us across this damn road!" The driver punched his horn, hit the gas, and we sprang forward through a crowd of Koreans frantically diving every which way. Somehow, almost miraculously, we made it across without killing anybody. At least, I don't think we killed anybody, because there were none of those awful crunching sounds you hear when you run something over. I heard 3 or 4 bodies slammed loudly against the side of the taxi, but hopefully all they got were bruises for their trouble. I said, "I really wish you hadn't done that." "Huh?" "That," I replied, pointing through the rear window. "That was a really bad idea. But you did it, back at Osan, where it was entirely different," I informed him. "We were on military property. This highway belongs to the city of Seoul. Also, those were peaceful protesters, not blood-crazed rioters flinging rocks and Molotov cocktails." His eyes got watery. "You mean I screwed up?" "You screwed up bad," I assured him, just as we pulled up to the front entry of the big headquarters building. As I climbed out, I bent over, looked into his downcast eyes, and said, "Look, you get in trouble, give me a call. I'll serve as your attorney. Okay? Don't worry, I hardly ever lose." He suddenly grabbed my arm and shook my hand, and was still mumbling pleading things at my back as I walked through the grand entrance of the headquarters. Infantry officers might not have a real high regard for lawyers, but they kiss your ass pretty good when they think they need you. The full colonel, who was obviously the general's gatekeeper, looked up from his desk when I barged in and gave me an instantly disapproving glare. He looked down at my sandals, paused at my plaid shorts, then dwelled speculatively on the letters on the front of my T-shirt, which read, "Go Navy, beat Army." Poor choice on my part, I suppose. He must have been a West Pointer, because that's when his eyes really caught fire. "Who the hell are you?" he demanded. "Major Sean Drummond," I said. "I just got to the hotel, and there was a note at the desk that said if I wasn't here at 1500 hours, I'd get castrated." I grinned stupidly. My wisecrack was supposed to soften the mood, show I was one of the guys, elicit a sympathetic smirk. Oops. He leaped up and said, "You've made it all the way to Major and never learned to salute when you report to a senior officer?" He definitely was a West Pointer, because you can't ever salute or say sir enough to the bully boys from the Hudson. I whipped off a humdinger of a salute. "Major Sean Drummond, reporting as ordered, sir." This seemed to mollify him somewhat. Not a lot, only somewhat. He returned my salute, and hot damn if it wasn't more of a humdinger than mine. You can almost hear the air crackle, his hands slice through it so fast. "You're the lawyer, right?" he asked. "I am a lawyer, sir," I dutifully confirmed. "Your co-counsel is already in General Spears's office." "My co-counsel?" "That's right," he said, glancing down at his watch. "Unlike you, she arrived right on time." "She? What are you waiting for?" he barked, pointing a long, stern finger at a hand-carved wooden door. I got the message. I walked over, knocked gently, and entered the office of General Martin Spears, Commander-in-Chief of every military thing south of the 38th parallel. The first thing I saw was the back of the woman who was standing in front of the general's desk. There was a shock of gleaming dark hair that hung like a shimmering flag all the way to her rump. She was short and slender with wide shoulders. She wore the traditional garb of a female lawyer, a dark blue pinstriped pantsuit cut to look neither sexy nor non-sexy. It didn't seem compatible with her long hair. She looked like a tiny ballerina who'd gotten her wardrobe mixed up. Something was disturbingly familiar about her. Spears tore his piercing eyes off her and targeted them at me. He was a thin, late middle-aged man with sparse graying hair, a face like a bloodthirsty mohawk, and eyes that looked menacing enough to shoot tank rounds at you. I swiftly marched forward, his eyebrows making me painfully aware how shabbily and inappropriately I was dressed. I hoped that if I did this just right, he might, maybe, hopefully, please God, ignore my attire. I stopped right in front of his desk, and, inspired by the example of the colonel in the general's outer sanctum, rocketed my right hand to my right brow so hard I nearly punched a dent in my forehead. "Major Sean Drummond, reporting as ordered, sir." He nodded, and then glumly murmured to the woman, "Your co